The house was too quiet. His little sister should have been running, screeching, in the hallway. Behind the house, his brother should have been batting stones with a stick. His mother should have been singing. At least, there should have been the short, heavy hiss of her broom. Instead, the house was so still that the dripping of the kitchen pump was as loud as rocks dropping into a pond. The house had never before been this quiet, and during the past few days it had been more noisy than ever before. His father had been carrying heavy things out of the house, returning with a lighter step, his load left somewhere behind him. Several times his mother had cried. Earlier this morning, he had thought they had all been tiptoeing around him, whispering, then leaving the house and going away. He thought perhaps his mother had kissed him, but he was not certain. He could not always tell if he was awake or dreaming. But he was sure he was awake now. He felt awake. He lay on his back, his hands moving over the bare mattress, his fingers squeezing the small cotton balls his mother had told him held the bed together. Once he had crawled under the bed, into a dust-filled space, and gripped the cold springs in his hands. He could not understand how such soft cotton balls could hold the bed together. Finally, he sat up, swung his feet onto the splintered wooden floor, and bent from the waist, searching for his coveralls. Finding them, the downside damp from the night, he pulled them on and stood up. Perhaps they were on the porch. He felt his way quickly down the hall. The wall was chipped and scarred in several places, his favorite scar shaped like a hand missing one finger. Under the plaster was a frame of wood. The tiny wire squares in the screen door were hot. Pushing against the door, he made the spring pop and whine. On the porch, his face and his chest, bare except for the bib and the straps of his coveralls, began very quickly to blaze. It was late in the morning. The heat was coming from high up. No one was breathing on the porch. He stood in the heat for a long while, waiting for someone to come for him. He could not go with his friends, who seemed to be playing in the cool woods behind his house. He did not want to be away when his parents returned. Finally, feeling his way to the edge of the porch with his bare feet, he sat down, dangling his legs over the edge. Tall, tough grass grew near the porch and tickled his swinging feet. Someone came when the heat was on top of his head. He had just put his hand to his hair and found the tiny curls and beads burning when, in the road running past the porch, pebbles began to spray. A man was walking fast. He recognized the footsteps, which stopped at the head of the path. "Papa?" "Come on, Letty. Come on, son." His father approached him, dragging his heavy shoes. Ludlow smelled dust in the air. Then his father's hand lifted his own, and Ludlow hopped to his feet. His father led him to the road. They went to the right. The dirt on the road was so powdery and dry it felt like hot water. Ludlow complained, and his father lifted him up, his arm under Ludlow's thighs like a seat. Ludlow put his arm around his father's neck. Whiskers pricked his fingertips. He wondered where he was being carried, whether or not his brother, sister, and mother would meet him there. The ground under his father's feet turned hard. Ludlow felt the shock all the way through his father's body. They were on pavement now. A car chugged by, blowing warm air against his face. They were on a highway, but it must be different from the one to which his brother had always led him. He and his father had turned the opposite way. His father was marching now, his steps regular and heavy. Ludlow bounced on his arm. Small stones crunched beneath his father's feet. Cars came toward them, bubbling, and blew past. They turned off the highway. Not far away, birds whistled and clattered in the trees. There was pavement again, and steps. His father leaned against a heavy door and carried him out of the heat. Ludlow's bare arms grew cold. Away, in a long, echoing space, children were talking. His father put him down, but held his hand. The smooth stone floor sent a shiver through him. A chair skidded and squeaked, and footsteps went away, limping. A moment later, the limping footsteps returned, accompanied by another set. Ludlow smelled cigar smoke. "This him?" "Yes, Warden. This him. Luddy. Ludlow Washington, sir." His father squeezed his hand. "Looks older'n 5." The cigar smoke jammed into Ludlow's nose. "He 5, sir." His father was frightened, the first time ever. "Honest to God." "Don't matter." He paused. "You can write your name, can't you?" His father let go his hand. "Yes, sir." "Well, then tell him to sit down. My assistant will look after him. We got papers to sign." The warden turned away. "Watch him." The cigar smoke faded with his father's footsteps. The warden's assistant limped toward him, clutched his arm, and snatched him forward. "Sit there and don't make no squawk." Ludlow was spun around and pushed back onto a wooden seat. Running his hands over it, he discovered it was a bench with arms at either end. "What you doing there?" The assistant was now some distance away. "I told you not to move."